to get the job, but I can but try at any rate. Number 7, are you able to work in confined spaces and underground facilities as deep as 40 feet? Yes, absolutely. I could work in extremely confined spaces. Now, am I 100% immune from claustrophobia? Equipment, I hope I at least get a little bit of training, but I have worked in a mine. I have, or volunteered, I should say. I've actually volunteered a little deeper than 40 feet. I can't remember what the depth of this equipment. Speaking of which, you might want an employee that has experience with climbing and properly wearing climbing equipment and safety gear and something. He was connected to a crane. He had a harness on, but something happened with the harness and he slipped out of it. So, yeah, 100% take a reading. Go for it. Go for it. I'm all about it. I'd even hang out of a helicopter if you need me to. Question number 10, are you willing to hang out of a helicopter? Question number 9, are you able to lift 50 pounds? Yes, absolutely. I could lift a little more than that physically in my casual life. In fact, most of the volunteering that I was doing at the museum, there were quite often times when we were doing more physical labor, whereas I've dealt with all manner of situations, all manner of clients, customers, owners, managers, coworkers, etc., etc., etc. Life's a beautiful thing, and there's not much that slows me down or keeps me from accomplishing the goal at hand. So, in accordance with accomplishing my goals, let's go ahead and proceed to review. Yes, these facts are true and complete to the best of my knowledge. Absolutely they are. Honesty is the best policy. Otherwise, you got to keep track of all your lies. That's kind of a pain in the butt. Right. Application submitted. So now we go over to our job. But the reason is, if I'm very aligned to a job and I think there's a semi-decent chance that I might get it, then I'm absolutely, going to give 110. I don't always know what exactly is important to them, right? They might really need someone, it might be in the world is going to make up for the fact that I don't have X experience. So rather than trying to say, I'm great, you should hire me, don't worry about the fact that I don't have X experience, I take a little bit more of a inbound marketing approach and say, look, I want to be an engineer. Take a look at some of the stuff that I've done. If you think I'm a good match, everyone, the employer's happier, the employee's happier, production is up. And when you have that kind of positivity in your office, it gets contagious. Conversely, when you have people that are struggling, perhaps because they're not the best fit for the job, or a variety of reasons that employees struggle with life, professional or otherwise, it can kind of be a thing that kind of anyone can do. And I haven't, if my main focus professionally is I can do CAD, I just don't see that as being a very... it's marketable, but I don't see it as being a good way of differentiating myself. Now, whereas if I was going to do something like be a power, they're also an enormous company. As you can tell, Mercedes, AMG, Maybach. Wow, I didn't know they owned Maybach. No kidding. Smart. Mercedes, me, never heard of that. I guess maybe that's their cloud. Bharat Benz. Looks like an Indian company, maybe. Cetra, Car2Go. Wow, see what that means, but... Anyways, well, we're going to get into this job application before this video gets too long. Sharing your passion for creating with the world, because if you don't, who will? Take care, YouTube. See you around.